Good afternoon, you guys. Hope you guys are doing well. I want to get on here and actually say thank you guys for supporting the channel. If you're new here, like, subscribe, most importantly, comment. I want to bring you guys a review of SWV and Escape, episode 2. Pray on it. Basically, we are front and center with the ladies. They basically everybody's gotten back together. SWV Escape. They're actually still in talks of going on tour together. The two groups, SWV and Escape. But we have some issues on the home front. We start out with Latasha and Tamika. They actually to the point where they actually had what was called like as I said a little intervention. The mom called them over to actually speak about it. It's been rumored that Tasha actually supposedly allegedly stole $30,000 from Tamika. Tamika is to the point where she wants her sister to actually own up to it and say that she stole the money. The money supposedly came from some type of royalties that they had when they actually did a performance as SWB. Now, according to Tamika, Rocky's, which is Latasha's husband, actually stole the money out of her account. She's one of those things where the mom is pretty much trying to diffuse the situation, but you can clearly see that she actually is taking Tasha's side. Tasha basically is playing, I say, victim, and most importantly, she acts as though she's in denial about it. She says that she does not know anything about any money. Tamika basically is letting everybody know that yeah, her sister did take the money, and that not only did she take the money, that she's not taking accountability for even taking the money. Uh, when she came over, Tamika brought her oldest daughter with her, and basically they were to the point where the daughter was basically trying to diffuse the situation between her aunt, and her actual grandmother. The grandmother's to the point where, like I said, she one sided. It seemed like she was taking Tasha's side on everything, and it seemed like she wanted Tamika to pretty much seem like the villain. You can tell growing up that they probably had a lot of issues with their mom. I'm not gonna say that she really took Tasha's side, but you can kind of see that look like in her mind, Tasha is never wrong about anything, so she's gonna pretty much take her side on it. And the reason why I say that is because at the end of the day, if your daughters both come to you and say one daughter stole from the other, I would think as a mom you would not take sides. You would pretty much try to diffuse the situation, maybe try to come to a common ground. Also, we're to the point where the ladies meet up with Candy at the candy factory, and basically they come in, to basically chop it up and see what they're gonna do as far as the tour is concerned. Candy basically has a nice little spread laid out for the ladies. The typical things. Meatballs, the chicken wings, and look, they got some kind of rotel dip or whatever. All the ladies are doing chopping it up. They're pretty much, getting closer as far as figuring out what's going on as far as the tour. They basically sit down and speak about the details of it, but they also get on an issue about the actual rundown. And basically Candy brings it full to center. She was like, well, y'all two act like y'all ain't speaking. So at that point, Latasha and Tamika both look at each other like they're saying, okay, so they're gonna basically make us in other words, address the elephant in the room. I think it's kind of weird that they are in a group, and not only are they in a group, but they are actually sisters, and they pretend like they're enemies. You would think that they would pretty much be thick as thieves, and they would be pretty much, real, real close. Not saying the relationship isn't close, but that's the type of vibe I'm picking up from actually watching them on the TV screen. But I pretty much, vibe with them. I like SWV. I like Escape as well. Pretty much, if you from the '90s and you listen to a lot of '90s music from back in the day, so you can pretty much relate. I'm pretty glad to see that the lady are still to the point where they actually can, sing and actually go on tour. So it's to the point where we kind of slide off of them a little bit, but we got to go right back to that again. Tiny basically brings us into her world. She lets us know that she is, still writing songs, and she actually is, still being a mother. She says she has most of her kids are of age, but she still has a youngest daughter. I think her name is Iris. I think she's like about 9 or 10 years old. So like she said, she's pretty busy when she's not on tour, and she still, like she said, she still is a wife. Ti makes a little small little, you know impromptu thing on the camera. He doesn't say very much, but he makes his presence known. You can tell that she basically wanted us, to come into her world and see that, even though she is a singer, she still is pretty much a mom, and most importantly, she is a human being and she wears a lot of hats. I pretty much commend her for that because it take a lot to do all of that, considering that, she does have a large family. But I'm glad to know that the women are to the point where they're not quote unquote arguing. Because at first they was to the point they was arguing so bad that they didn't even want to be a group. So it was to the point where it was down to it was I think it's thinking two, I think three of them. But the thing that they kept going back and forth about was the fact that pretty much Latasha wanted to be the it girl of the group, as I say. She pretty much wanted to branch off from them. Because I noticed when they did the award show, everybody was supposed to wear the same dress. Latasha showed up, she had on a totally different dress. And like Tamika said, we all got the memo that we're supposed to wear the same color, but my sister decided she wanted to do what she wanted to do. But then when she showed up, she pretended like she didn't know that they had already discussed that everybody was gonna wear that same color. Because I saw it when they got on the red carpet, and I was wondering, I said, now why is Tasha dressed totally different from everybody else? Because I think the colors was blue, and she showed up in like a green dress. But I think one of the things where Latasha been wanting to kind of branch out from the group because she kept being insinuating that she wanted to actually do gospel. Now she actually had a meeting with one of the producers and the actual CEO of the a gospel label. So I think she's gonna pretty much sign with them. I don't know if that's gonna be something she do on the side or she gonna do it full time and kind of pretty much get out of the group. I don't know. Hoping she won't get out of the group because I kind of like her in the group. Everybody bring their own little special flavor to the group. Nobody can replace anybody in the group if that makes sense. But SWV pretty much seem like they hold nails down or whatever. Lily basically lets us see, inner workings of what she got going on. I think her oldest daughter is actually not in the home anymore, so she pretty much is like an empty nester right now. So she pretty much just her and the dog. So she basically let us know that she is dating right now, but nothing serious. So she pretty much, like she said, she's trying to find her Mr. Right. We also to the point where we meet up with Taj. Taj had just gotten back. They actually had came off of an actual, I don't say a tour, but they had an actual event they had to go to in Johannesburg, Africa. They had somebody that actually had a birthday, so they decided they would book them. So they decided to go over there. Like the lady said, they was not gonna miss no money. So they were saying it was like a six-figure deal. So that was pretty much great as far as them actually touring, actually securing the event. Taj is glad to be back home. She actually, settles in. She talks with her husband and her son. They embrace her and tell her how much they actually missed her. She was pretty much taken aback, and she pretty much, like she said, she enjoys being a mom and most importantly, being a wife. Now, Taj actually is the wife of a NFL football player. So I guess he was to the point where he actually was I guess they was on the off season or whatever. I guess he had a little downtime. He's able to spend a little time with them. But I'm glad to know they still are happily married. They I think they've been married over 10 years. But it seems like they pretty much, happily married, so that's a good thing. Also, we're to the point where Coco is actually goes back home or whatever, and she settles in with her son and her mom. Her mom basically wants to have a sit down with her, but a lot of people are trying to address the elephant in the room. They're kind of asking people like, do they think that her son is gay? And I was like, well, I don't. It's not a thing where I was really looking to see whether or not the particular young man was gay or whatever. But I did notice that some things about him. I said, well, maybe he is, but that's not even the point. I know he personally was dabbling into singing. I guess he picked it up from his mom as well, because we know Coco has a great voice. So I'm thinking that pretty much would pass down to him as well. But yeah, her and her mom pretty much they get along pretty well. But she also lets us in. Coco lets us know that back when they first started out with SWV, that her mom actually was against it because her mom was pretty much religious, and the fact that she wanted to do R&B, she was one too keen on her doing that. But I'm glad to know that her mom actually let her actually join the group, because I pretty much I like SWV as a whole. Everybody brings something different and a vibe to the actual group. But I personally think that the actual tour thing with SWV and Escape, I think that'd be a good thing. Everybody's to the point. I think everybody would come out and actually show the event some love, and actually they would tickets would sell. I mean, a lot of people are to the point they love the SWV and they like Escape. So I'm pretty much know they will sell out the actual event. But Candace to the point where, she goes back home or whatever and she's back in her mom mode as well. And, Candace just had a well, not just had a baby, but she has a 3-year-old daughter. She has a 6-year-old son. She has a daughter named I'm sorry, a son named Ace, and she has a daughter named Blaze. So she pretty much shows us how, she gets in the mommy mode. She actually gets the kids to help her to actually make pizzas. So I thought it was really, really cute that she was able to let them, make their own pizzas. Everybody, help out or whatever. Because her oldest daughter Riley, I think she's off at college, so she pretty much not there. And Todd's daughter, she pretty much I don't know whether she's in back and forth in New York or whatever, but we don't see her a whole lot. But that was glad to see Candy back in her own element as far as being a mom. You can tell Candy loves being a mom because that pretty much with her having the last 2 kids, she wanted to do that considering that her and Todd didn't have any kids amongst themselves. They did have kids outside, so they have a total of 4 kids together. Todd basically, was telling her, he gave her that little eye, that little wink, like I said, go ahead and put the kids to bed. When he said that, I just laughed. I said, well, they want to put the kids to bed early so they can go ahead and have grown up time, if you know what that means. But yeah, I'm glad to see that Candy is actually still with Todd. Candy met Todd, I think, on the set of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. And they've been, pretty much going strong ever since then. Because I watched Candy also when she be on The Real Housewives of Atlanta. But to know that they actually got a series as a group, I thought that was a big plus. So I said, hey, let me tune in and see what they got going on. Now, the first 2 episodes are pretty much good. And I'm, enjoying the vibe, because anything that they put out is actually going to be good. I enjoy listening to the ladies sing, especially Escape. Like I said, I be listen to a lot of the oldies, especially Just Kicking It and SWV. I think they got right here. So I be looking at that and then I listen to Week sometime. But yeah, I'm not a 90s girl, but I am a 70s baby, but I love listening to 90s music. So to know that SWV and actually Escape decided to join forces and go on tour, I'm all for it. I'm waiting for them to drop the dates because I want to get a ticket. I really want to go and be, front and center to actually hear them singing and vibing or whatever. But yeah, this particular episode, Pray on It, actually is pretty good. But I'm waiting to see whether or not Latasha and Tamika maybe can come to amends, as far as their sibling rivalry. But I think it's gonna be a minute because Tamika is not to the point where I don't think she's gonna be able to get Latasha to, if do the first thing, that's admit that she stole the money. I mean, you got to start there. You got to admit it, and then maybe you can move forward and maybe say, "Hey, I'm sorry," or this or that or whatever. But I noticed when Tamika goes home or whatever, she actually is with her husband or whatever. But a lot of people say she got one of those relationships kind of like what Monique had with her husband, basically like the husband basically be trying to take over everything as far as her career is concerned. Yeah, I kind of noticed that little vibe about him, especially when they had the meeting with the record label for her possible gospel venture. It's like he was pretty much taking over as far as the questioning was concerned. But we're gonna see. We're gonna keep our eye on Mr. Rocky and see what he got going on over there. Hopefully, he got nothing but the best of interest for our girl Latasha. Now, Latasha got a real good voice. I mean, I've been listening ever since the '90s. She bring a little spin to the group, that everybody, can't bring. Now Tamika got a little gospel feel to her as well. So, everybody got their own little spin to the group. And, I don't think like I said, they pretty much like the SWV, nobody in that group can be replaced. So it's good to know that actually everybody's back and vibing. And just like they said when they met up and tried to additionally do the actual tour, Taj was telling them, she said, everybody got to, put their grown woman panties on. Everybody, whatever kind of issues y'all got, y'all need to squash it because at the end of the day, it's a blessing that we're not only we hear, but we able to, actually sing and do what we love. And I thought, yeah, that's a good thing. She was telling them nothing but the truth and giving them nothing but sisterly advice, and she, giving them good vibes. And I noticed that Tamika and looked at her sister. I mean, she pretty much. I think Tamika want to make amends with Latasha, but she can't. She can't get past the fact that Latasha won't, in my mind, won't admit that she stole the money. So, but it's kind of hard to see that they actually the sister bond is not gonna be strong on account of some money. But most time it don't take much to actually to tear a family apart, and most time that's where it starts with money. And I can see she loaned her the money, but she's saying that Latasha actually stole the money. And the mom what had the audacity to say, yeah, maybe she might have needed it. And I was like, that's not even the point, whether or not she needed the money. The point was she stole the money, and then it seemed like you trying to basically take up for your daughter. I mean, it's got you. That's your daughter. You should not take sides when it comes to your children. But I noticed that their mom pretty much seemed like to me she was more leaning toward Latasha because every time Tamika said something, she told them to cut the camera off. And I was like, why she want to cut the camera off? They was filming in the house. She even wanted them over there to actually, come and talk and meet up. So I think one thing was she didn't want Tamika to probably say the wrong thing, and she didn't want them to get blasted on over the social media. But I was like, it's too late now. The cat's out the bag. I guess she thought Tamika wasn't gonna say nothing, and not only she didn't want expecting her to say nothing while the camera's rolling. I think that's pretty much what got her panties in a bunch, and she was like, okay, so she gonna go here, she gonna do that, and not only she gonna do that, but she doing it right on camera. So Tamika basically got upset. She had enough, so she told her daughter to come, and they actually jumped in her car and they left. The mom and Tasha basically ran outside like they was trying to pretty much stop her, but I don't think it's one of those things where she really wanted to talk, so she kind of sped off and she left. So she was talking to her daughter in the car, and she basically was like, "I cannot believe that they actually sit up there and lied like that." So the daughter was like, "Yeah, mom, I can't believe they did that either." But I noticed I had seen on because I follow Tamika on YouTube. She has a page as well, and she basically got on there and she basically was giving us a rundown. She did like a 30-minute segment of it. She basically was telling us how it started and why she pretty much felt like she had to put her sister on blast. She said it one of those things where she was trying to air her sister out. She said she just trying to get clarity, and most importantly, she was trying to let the people know. It is what it is, and that no, I'm not out here being mad at her for no reason because everybody knows the tension in the group, what they had going on. Now, when they first started out as a group, they had tension between Candy and Latasha. So pretty much, see, like Latasha has always been the common denominator in this particular scenario. So people to the point where they give Miss Tasha the side eye because Miss Latasha act like she a group member. She act like she is the group. And I was like, it's okay, to have a strong mindset and most important, feel like you are the it girl of the group, but you gotta understand you are a member of the group. Everybody gotta shine, equally. You can't be one. You can't one of those things where you gotta be, in other words, feel like you are the group and nobody else is in there with you. If that makes sense. But I don't know. We got to sit back and wait and see what Miss Tasha got going on. I mean, I personally am here for it. She decides she wants to do her solo and actually go and do gospel. I said go for it. But I would, if she did decide to lead the group, I would miss her because at the end of the day, like I told you, everybody in the group brings a different something. But you understand, you gotta be a true, excuse me, a true escape fan to understand what I'm saying. Especially when you listen to their music and how they sound when they get together musically, if that makes sense. But we're gonna see what they got going on. And we hope everybody is actually gonna stay in the group, and we're gonna see if Mr. Tasha gonna keep going, in other words, going against the grain and doing what she doing as far as, being, as I say, being awkward. But yeah, when she did that thing and she wore that dress and it was a whole different color, I was like, okay, I see what Miss Tasha doing. Miss Tasha trying to do what she do, but they gotta understand a lot of things too. Cause Tasha look, I ain't saying she looked bad in the beginning, but she has the, I don't know if she had a lot of work done, had any work done, but I know she did lose weight a lot, so she slimmed down a lot. So I guess her with slimming down, she pretty much her attitude went up and her actual confidence went up as well. There's nothing wrong with that, but she kind of using it for the evilness, as I say. But yeah, we're gonna see what the girls are giving and see how this season goes. I'm hoping that everybody can mend fences and come back and do what they do in that scene and actually give us a good show. But I am really stoked about the fact that they actually got a reality show. I was waiting on it for them to do it because I know at first SWV had came out with an actual reality show on WeTV. But I guess it got one season and then they actually renew it anymore. So it is what it is. And back then they was actually kind of struggling because SWV went to the point where they was, booking enough shows to actually, go on tour. But now they are pretty much booked and they're busy. So they're pretty much doing the thing and they actually are giving the girls what they want to see, And, as I say, they actually selling out the shows, so I'm actually happy for them. But I will give you guys a recap of not season episode 3 and let you guys know what's going on with the girls. And thank you guys so much for tuning in to the live stream. If you're new here, subscribe and leave your girl a comment. I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye bye.